Schumacher.
BBC Radio Berkshire, 21 minutes to 8. Now, have you come across the Juliet Club? I can't say I had. This is an organisation that sends letters of comfort and advice to love-struck people around the world. They're based in Verona, Romeo and Juliet, you see, and they get 50,000 letters a year. One of the people who writes the letters back is Martin, who lives in Reading. He told me how he felt when he first decided to send a letter to the Juliet Club.
When I sent that letter and the letter left my fingers and fell into the postbox, I felt sick because all my emotions, all my deepest and most painful secrets had been thrown out into the big bad world. When I received Juliet's reply 6 months later, it was absolutely astonishing. It literally changed my life because this person had handwritten just a few lines and they were speaking directly to me. And so I had to thank the Juliet Club. I followed them on Facebook. I started talking to Eleanor Machi, and one day after about a year, Ellen said that one of the secretaries was having a couple of problems with their health and they needed just a bit of inspiration and a pick-me-up. And I said I'd be happy to write a letter. So I wrote an email telling them about myself, how I was born with a brain tumour. I've had 18 brain operations, radiotherapy. When I was 16, I was diagnosed terminally ill, but for reasons doctors can't explain, I'm not dead yet, and I'm now 40 years old. I just kept going, and I kept trying, and I managed to survive. I never lost hope, and that's why I'm still here.
Did you write to Juliet because you were lonely? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what emotion, what feeling in you made you want to share what you describe as your innermost thoughts and secrets with someone?
I wouldn't say that I wanted to tell Juliet those feelings, but when I started writing, I just found myself telling her. It just felt right.
Do you think it was, I mean, is it almost a process of clarifying your own thoughts because you've got to write them down, or you've chosen to write them down, so it helps you work through them yourself?
I think it was more a case of I found someone to talk to, and they're not going to talk back to me. And as I later found out, Juliet's never mocks somebody, never jokes about something. She just listens, and she gives a compassionate reply. So I felt safe telling her those secrets. But as I said, once you let go of that letter, you're at the will of the big bad world.
Of course, yes, yeah. So tell me, how does it work? Because in something that started with people leaving handwritten letters on a tomb in Italy is now a much bigger thing that you're part of from home here in Reading. So you're able to be a Juliet or part of Juliet without being in Italy. How does the whole thing function behind the scenes?
A lot of people hear about the story and they immediately call the Juliet Club to say, oh, we'd like to volunteer as well. It's very difficult because it's not like applying for a job. You don't get a wage. It's all based on trust. And that's very, very difficult. That's a lot harder to achieve rather than sort of walking into an office with a university degree. What happens with me, for example, is that while I'm in England, Eleanor and Giovanna will send me letters that are appropriate to me and my life experiences and things that I'll be able to help other people overcome or even just give a comforting word to.
I see. So the letters you get are ones that the people who run the Juliet Club think, hang on, Martin knows about this chimes with his experience, his background, he'll be able to say something helpful, useful, comforting.
Yes. For example, with my disabilities and my illness, also literally my brush with death, that gives me a large scope of very sensitive issues that
of course
I have to cope with.
When people write to you and share their innermost feelings and secrets and all of that, How do you know where to start with what to say back?
Honestly, I can't really explain where I do start. To me, I just imagine Juliet sitting at a desk with fountain pen under candlelight, looking at this letter. I just imagine what she's saying or what she's thinking, and those words start to come out just naturally.
Is there anything that people who write to Juliet have in common? Is there a particular type of person who does this, would you say, or...?
Most of the letters, for example, come from American school children, largely because the Juliet Club is taught in American schools, and they're encouraged to express their feelings or just let their emotions out. But one theme that I've seen in all letters sent to Juliet is that people are suffering emotionally for whatever reason, and that never stops.
Do sometimes people write things that, I mean, it's a little bit like being a priest in a confession booth. Do sometimes people write things which admit to wrongdoing?
Bad people can't write to Juliet because you are opening your heart, you're opening your soul. If you lie to Juliet, you're lying to yourself. And that's why whenever I've seen those letters about people who've committed adultery or they've done something wrong, and they're looking for some solace with the world, and so they're just asking Juliet or just telling Juliet they're so sorry. And bad people can't do that.
I get a sense from you, Martin, that you really love doing this. What do you get out of it as the person writing some of the replies?
I get to see a window into other people's worlds, other people's lives. I learn from other people as well. Everybody who writes to Juliet, to me, is just so brave, opening their hearts up to a complete stranger. And it makes me feel a little bit more in touch with humanity. And in today's age, with instant messaging and internet, also freedom of speech and internet trolls and online abuse, it's just so nice to see and to be part of something that's just bringing comfort to somebody, even just one person at a time. It's spreading a bit of compassion.
Martin Hopley from Reading, who is Juliet, or one of the people who writes back to the 50,000 people a year who write to Juliet. Interesting. 13 minutes to 8.
BBC Radio Berkshire.